Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum. This is your brother Abdullah Rafiq. I just came from morning walk, so I thought why should I not record the lessons that I learned from a meeting with Sir Haroon Dosani. Sir Haroon Dosani is actually a part of Jumpstart Pakistan and Lift Pakistan conference. He's from Texas and he graduated from University of Texas and have been in business for since 20 years. So he's experienced person in starting a startups and making it to some level that can be sold for a good amount. Uh, my meeting was with him about my startups. He knows me from the from Lift Pakistan conference where I pitched my startup called Printlaw. So I was asking few questions from him, and in answering to that questions, he shared some things that I note down in my diary, so I can share with you guys. So here is a list of lessons that I learned in the meeting of 30 to 40 minutes at Launchpad 7. The number one lesson that I learned from him last day was he was commenting on my progress of startup, saying you had the idea, you executed that, and you took the few initial steps, and you are now on the phase where you may be having some hardest part of your journey. So he was saying that just execute your idea, whatever the idea is. Every idea is bad idea if it is not executed yet. So you go and execute your idea to any level. Just try to execute your idea, make it into something into a physical world. So the number one lesson was whatever for you is whatever your idea you have in any kinda, is it bad or good, nothing matter, just have to execute that idea. The number two lesson is stick to that idea for a certain period of time. क्योंकि जब आप आइडिया आता है एंड यू टुक सम इनिशियल स्टेप्स, लेकिन उसके बाद एक दौर ऐसे भी आता है वेयर यू हैव टू पास थ्रू वेरी वेरी हार्डेस्ट पार्ट ऑफ योर जर्नी. आपको 24 आवर जागना पड़ेगा, आपको बाकी सारी टीम मेंबर का खुद करना पड़ेगा, आपको बहुत सारे काम जो आपको आपके नहीं करने वाले या लो प्रोफाइल काम है आपको वो करने पड़ेंगे. यू हैव टू गो through that journey. So you have to stick with that idea, and you have to keep the patience to a time when you start making some profit, or you got some team that can help you in those tasks. So the number one is execute your idea. The number two is stick to that idea for a certain period of time. Just pass through the hardest part of your life. So the third lesson he shared was learn to differentiate between revenue and profit. For startups, in initial, it is not necessary to have a lot of profit. The main thing is you must have revenue, and revenue is the number one reason that your idea is valid and your idea is working. If you are having a cash flow, then that is a solid reason that your startup actually has some worth. So big lad, if you are having a little revenue or bigger revenue, it doesn't matter, you have the worth in your idea, you have to scale it to some good levels. And for profit in some period of time you will also start getting the profits. The fourth lesson is that is gem lesson actually. बहुत सारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स इस मिस्टेक में पड़ जाते हैं. He was saying that never ever fall in love with your idea or your product. कभी भी अपने आइडिया, कभी भी अपने बिजनेस प्रोडक्ट के बारे में, अपने उनके बारे में फालिन उसमें आप उसकी मोहब्बत का शिकार ना हो जाएं. ठीक है, क्योंकि द मोमेंट यू फॉल इन लव विद समथिंग, ये मोमेंट इज़ द मोमेंट यू स्टॉप थिंकिंग. द मोमेंट यू फॉल इन लव विद समथिंग, द मोमेंट you stop thinking. So when you stop thinking, you actually stop rational planning, rational thinking. And the moment when you stop rational thinking, the moment you stop thinking is the moment when you stop taking any guidance from other people, you stop taking feedback from your customers, from your mentors, and you become a hindrance to any kind of criticism over your idea. Maybe your idea is maybe very novel, but when it comes to the market, it must be possessable, it must be good enough to fit in the market. If it is not getting fit into the market, then that product is not gonna work. So the number one thing is, for most of people who actually executed the idea and go and making some revenue, start listening to your customers, start listening to the people who criticize your idea. So never ever think that I am fall in love with that, and never become too much passionate about your idea. uh, Keep the number one priority is your customer and the people who are using your product. Listen to them, take the feedback from them, and try to improve your product as per their feedback. The number fifth lesson is be the serial entrepreneur. uh, it is actually connected with the point number 5, that is, don't fall in love, because believe one day you are gonna sell this product. आज आप ये स्टार्टअप बिल्ड कर रहे हैं तो कल आपको इस स्टार्टअप को सेल आउट करना है. सो इस बात को जहन में रखते हुए इसकी प्रोग्रेस करें, इसका फीडबैक लें, लोगों से काम करें, इसको इम्प्रूव करें, इसको वर्क इसकी बढ़ाते रहें, तेज़ी से और एक्सपोनेंशियली वर्क बढ़ाएं. जब आप इसकी मोहब्बत का शिकार नहीं होंगे, आपको पता होगा मैंने कल सेल आउट करना है, तो यू विल बी बिट केयरफुल अबाउट दीज थिंग्स. सो बी द सीरियल एंटरप्रेन्योर, बिल्ड अ स्टार्टअप, make it make it to something better, something novel and good, and sell it to something else. That just like real estate properties, you buy the land, you build the house, you sell the house. So this way you build the startup, you have the idea, you build the startup, you sell the startup. The number six lesson that I learned from him was about scaling the business. That About getting scaling the business. When you are at a stage where you need some money to scale your business. Every entrepreneur came up with different ideas. Some take loans, some sell their equities from the startup. His perspective was, whenever you gonna take investment from any investor, डोंट टेक जस्ट मनी. कभी भी सिर्फ पैसे की खातिर अपनी इक्विटी सेल ना करो. And he was right in that. He was saying you must invite those investors who can actually strategically help your product. कि आपके प्रोडक्ट को सिर्फ पैसे के ज़रिए नहीं, अपनी रिसोर्सेज, लीगल लिंक्स और नेटवर्क्स के ज़रिए भी आपको हेल्प आउट कर सकते हैं. बिकॉज दैट इन्वेस्टर गोना कम विद योर प्रॉफिट एंड हिज ओन प्रॉफिट. So go for the strategical partner rather than the rather than financial investor. So you must come up with a partner who can actually invest, who can give you resources and network to optimize your profit at the exponential growth. So if you're gonna take loan, and if you're having some revenue, if you're believing that your product is gonna work as you're having the revenue, so take loans to scale. Don't stuck in the issue of money. Take loan, and taking loan is very good thing in many cases. So take loan and boost your sales, your revenue, or whatever you wanna go. Then the last lesson that we were I learned from him was about blockchain technology. As I am working on the blockchain technology, so answering to my question about blockchain technology in real estate industry, he was saying it is the number one industry that is gonna hit as early as he was saying the blockchain technology is gonna hit the in real estate industry very early than other many other industries. So I presented my idea of my brand. So he appreciated and said that this product may be gonna the next transforming product in the blockchain technology. So his perspective was blockchain technology will work sooner or later. The orthodox and old-fashioned stakeholders is gonna vanish from the system at all. वो जो गुटा छाप रियल स्टेट के बड़े बड़े टाइकून्स बैठे हुए हैं, they gonna vanish from the market because the market is gonna transform very exponential rate. So while summarizing the all things, is execute your idea, scale it, sell it, and learn and adopt the new changes in the market. Assalamu alaikum.